But what struck me, and I think struck many others, was the assertion made by Yasser Arafat towards the end of the summit that the Temple of Solomon and the second temple that was built during the Second Jewish Commonwealth never existed. President Clinton went over that assertion repeatedly when he discussed Camp David in various subsequent occasions, and they were leaked to Newsweek and other places, how he was shocked and surprised by this assertion. This could have been an issue that just rose and fell because Arafat, and I had many hours with Yasser Arafat, was a person who would always put forward sort of wild assertions to throw off the people he was negotiating with. But this notion of temple denial didn't die with Arafat. I saw it spreading. I noticed that there were seminars held in the United Arab Emirates to discuss the same theme. Seminars held also in Jordan, in Yarmouk University, looking again into this whole notion of temple denial. I saw links forming that were fascinating and ironic between people with a more, let's say, fundamentalist Islamic perspective who engaged in this activity, and academics from European universities who, for their own ultra-secular reasons, did not want to believe in the veracity of the Hebrew Bible. So the whole notion that Arafat started didn't seem to draw to a halt with Camp David and the Taba negotiations, but continued percolating and spreading. And I think for Arafat, it was actually a certain amount of political genius, because if you're battling the Israelis over such issues as the future of Jerusalem, why not undermine their self-confidence and the confidence of the world in the veracity of their claim? Why not leave them as a kind of colonial movement of Europeans who came in the late 19th century and early 20th century into what had been only an Arab political space, and that way obtain your ultimate political goals? About the same time that I was considering writing this book, I met up with an Islamic scholar who I shall leave nameless for a variety of reasons. And he was outraged by the spread of temple denial. By the way, as I say in the book, it wasn't just Arafat among the Palestinians. It spread to Yasser Abed Rabo. It spread to Saeb Erekat. It spread to all the stars who were appearing on CNN and Fox Television to expand on the justice of the Palestinian cause. And they were serious about it. Nabil Shah, Wharton, talking about temple denial. I mean, come on. And finally, and unfortunately, Mahmoud Abbas, Abu Mazen. I would find when I had contact, by the way, I'm just going off a little bit on a side, with some senior politicians in the Arab world, and if they were asked point blank, well, what do you think about the veracity of the temple story from the Bible? They would start getting nervous and moving in their seats and not wanting to commit to the veracity of the biblical narrative, and not wanting, of course, to openly say something in support of what Arafat's assertion. So you can see that this whole, the circles of impact that we're developing. So anyway, going back, I had contact with an Islamic scholar who said to me, Dore, this whole phenomenon is disturbing from an Islamic perspective. And I said, why? And this gentleman took out old Qurans for me, and we opened up Surah 17, and in my broken Arabic, we studied together the commentaries on the Quran. There's the Jalalayn, there's al-Baidawi, and it looks just like a page of Talmud, by the way, with the commentaries along the side of the text. And when you study the famous verse of praising God, whose prophet, well, I'm not quoting the verse in exact terms, I'm paraphrasing it, went from the holy mosque to the farther mosque, and the interpretation of the meaning farther mosque is raised, well, in all the commentaries, that's Beit Ha-Mikdash. What is Beit Ha-Mikdash? So anyone who also knows a little Hebrew knows, it sounds like Beit Ha-Mikdash. And Baidawi, of course, adds the assertion, or his commentary, his understanding in the commentary. Since there was no mosque at the time, it had to be Beit Ha-Mikdash. That is where Muhammad's nocturnal journey, that was the destination of Muhammad's nocturnal journey. So even from the standpoint of the study of Quran, these wild assertions of temple denial seem to conflict with Islamic traditions. But nonetheless, they were very popular.